When it comes to ARK, rat holes are everywhere, so we proudly present top 10 rat holes you may have not known about on ARK. My server's Deluxe just wiped a few days ago. Deluxe servers is just like OC, but with better server handling and an official grind. Deluxe offers 3x harvest, lag-free servers, an in-game shop, no pay to win, 5x breeding, new player protection, 3x experience, and more. Come join Deluxe today and get up to 1 week of new player protection. And coming at number 10, this can be found at 82.2 latitude and 87.3 longitude on Valguero. And then here it is on the map. Now this little rat hole, a lot of people really do not know about this, but it is a super hidden rat hole that is right here. Now if you are a solo or even maybe a duo tribe, this is perfect. I mean, you have this nice little area, however it does take a Pelagornis to get into the rat hole. I've tried to do this with a zipline and some crossbows, and it really just doesn't work out that well. By having a Pelagornis, it allows you to get into the rat hole like that. And when you're in, you can just really like leave them in here, put them off to the side if you really wanted to, or you can just pick them up. However, you can fit a good amount of stuff in here actually. The only downside is you really can't put an indie forge in here. It's going to poke through and tell everybody that you're in here. But other than that, it is a nice little storage area if you want to use it, or it's a nice little good starting area, put some forges, some fabricators, get some stuff going while still being able to hide. Now coming at number 9, this can be found at 38.6 latitude and 34.4 longitude on Extinction. Now this one is a very small one, however, it is one that I've never seen on any video anywhere, which is this nice little tiny little rat hole over here in the corner. Now this one is out of the city terminal, which is actually pretty rare because the majority of the rat holes on Extinction are in the city. However, there's this little one. So coming through here, it is just big enough for a player to get through, almost too small for that actually, and just a nice little area sitting right here. I mean, you can put a few foundations down if you're on an unofficial server, hide some vaults, really just hide a little bit of loot in here. This is not a great base spot, but it's a nice little spot if you're solo and still looking to hide. Coming at number 8, this can be found at 38.9 latitude and 67.5 longitude on Crystal Isles. Now there it is on the map for you guys, and this can be found over in the floating islands. Now this tiny little rat hole is perfect for a solo or even a duo tribe. It's super hidden, it's nice up in here, so trying to soak this thing is actually not going to be the easiest. However, it's very small. Yes, you can put an indie forge in there if you're on unofficial, but it's going to be very difficult to really defend this base and try to keep people from seeing it. However, it's underneath the waterfall, which kind of helps with the visibility of it, so it makes for a great base spot. Now coming at number 7, this can be found at 51.5 latitude and 52.9 longitude on Aberration. Now here it is on the map. It is pretty much dead middle of the map. Now this is in the blue zone. However, you need to be careful as you're right on the edge of the hazard zone. So make sure to watch out for that and make sure to watch how far down you go, because you will be taking damage once you leave the rat hole, which is a good side of if people try to raid. However, here's the entrance. It's a bit of an odd entrance. This one goes up. Now this up entrance only has one little area to get in. There is a second area in there, but you can't make it through there with a player, which is nice. Now anyways, once you're in here, this is a bit of a different rat hole. This one is going to need to be built with cliff platforms or some pillars. Now you can't build a standard base like you can with some other ones, but overall it's a good sized rat hole. You have a good amount of room in here. As long as you have some cliff platforms and a good amount of time, you can turn this into a very good base spot. Here's another spot over here that I was talking about, but you can't get players through. Now coming at number 6, this can be found at 60.6 latitude and 18.7 longitude, and this can be found on Scorched Earth. Now this little spot is a nice little hidden spot. Now it's probably not the best idea to put a base in the Wyvern Scar. However, if you're a solo and looking to maybe throw a few vaults in here, or put a little tiny base with a few heavies on it, it would be a great little spot for that. However, you can abuse this little spot right here because it has a mesh hole in it. So as long as you don't abuse this little mesh hole, it'll make for a pretty good spot to live in. Just make sure to not abuse mesh hole, as that is a great way for you to get banned. And coming in number 5, this can be found at 94.9 latitude and 60.6 longitude on the center. Now here it is on the map. Now this spot I personally like a lot. It is a nice little spot that is actually very difficult to raid, especially because it's in a ceiling. Now as you can see with this little crack in the terrain right here, you're entered into this nice little rat hole. However, the rat hole is a little more complicated. It's more of a kind of stretched out, laid out kind of rat hole. It's not more of a just central area. So you're going to have to build multiple layers, and you're going to have to use a lot of cliff platforms. So if you are fine with that, then this will make for a great spot. If you defend this thing right, I guarantee you no one's even going to see you here or even try to raid you, as this spot will be pretty difficult to raid. Now coming at number 4, this can be found at 69.9 latitude and 38.4 longitude. This can be found on Aberration, and this spot is actually a very interesting rat hole. So as you can see, this is the spot where it is. So of course you are in the hazard area, so you're going to have a hazmat suit. But if you look at the location of this, it's kind of odd. If you come over to these crystals, there's a nice little path over here that leads you into the back, which opens up into a pretty good sized room. Now, it's an odd spot for this to be, as there's only really one of these, and I feel like there should be more if there's more crystal areas, but actually there's really not. So I guess the devs just messed up and forgot to patch a little spot right here. However, a downside of this spot, you can't build in the majority of this even on unofficial settings unless you have cliff platforms. If you have cliff platforms, you can build on most of the walls, not all of them, but most of them. So you can put a good amount of stuff down here, except for an Indie Forge. Indie Forge is going to poke through, but other than that, it's a great little spot. Now coming at number 3, this can be found at 11.1 latitude and 64.9 longitude on Fjordor. Now this can be found in the terminal area, over in the green zone. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. If you know the name, comment that down below so I know for next time, so I can try to study it. But anyways, this little rat hole is pretty close to one of the other very well-known rat holes in here. However, this is a different one. It's actually a little bit bigger, but with the same kind of awkward layout as the last one. So to get in here, you're going to need a stair and a foundation. And you have to place them at a certain angle so you're able to squeeze through there. But anyways, this is the whole rat hole. It's not a huge rat hole, but it's not as small as some of the other ones on this list. Now this little rat hole, I guess a lot of people aren't going to be expecting you to really be putting a base in here, as it's in the poison wyvern area. So you actually do need to be careful with that, because if you aggro one of the poison wyverns and you get in here, if they shoot a poison ball at you, it can damage you through this. So be careful about that, and to get out, I just had to kind of squeeze through and just kind of move from side to side to get out. And coming at number 2, this can be found at 48.1 latitude and 13.0 longitude on Genesis Part 2. Now this can be found over on the left part of the map, and this spot, you really don't expect anything to even be here, but there's a nice, pretty good sized rat hole here. Now if you go onto this little waterfall, you have to go underneath the water to get into it. You're opened up into this nice, really good sized area. Now this area has a good amount of room. Yes, there's water, so I guess a lot of you guys are going to talk about how you can raft raid this, but I don't think you really can with that little front entrance. I mean, there's only a tiny little spot where a raft might be able to get through, but other than that, you have a lot of room in here. There's no 6x damage. A lot of people aren't even going to know that this is here until this video comes out, of course. But makes for a great spot. I've done a full base design in here, I believe, in the past, but it's a very unknown spot. And coming at number 1, this can be found at 50.1 latitude and 18.8 longitude on Genesis Part 2. Now this can be found pretty close to the last one, not too far down the river actually, and this spot is another one that you really would not be expecting, and of course it's behind another waterfall. Now behind this waterfall on the side here, you are opened up into this nice good sized rat hole. You really can't see this thing at all from the outside, so a lot of people don't even know that this thing is here. It's somewhat flat, but then it has some of the weird curvy edges on the back. But other than that, it makes for a great spot. You can fit a good sized base in here and really put whatever else you want to do in here. But anyways, that's going to wrap it up for this video. We hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like, and if you're new, hit that subscribe button. and go join our servers Deluxe, which just wiped about a week ago. But anyways, thanks for watching.